you, Cam. I'm here with Mr. President Karl K. There we go. I got them all in.
That's right.
There you go. Karl, we have a little dilemma on our hands here.
Yes, we do.
We have Preston Castle, and unfortunately, we've had to suspend tours
That's correct.
and going inside, but we want to stress that if you want to hold an event on the grounds, you can.
Right.
So don't shy away.
The state fire marshal changed their position about our use of the facility, and until we put in a sprinkler system throughout the building, said we can no longer have guests or the public inside the building.
Right.
Initially, they said we couldn't use the facility at all. And last night we got word from the state fire marshal that they are relenting in part and allowing us to continue the use of the grounds for tours, exterior tours, looking up close at the castle, events on the patio, etc. We just can't take anybody inside the castle at this time.
So if somebody wants to hold a wedding and do a reception or whatever, they can come in and do whatever they want, but they just can't go inside the castle.
Right.
So that's what we want to stress, that until we can get the sprinkling system up and running,
Right.
then all the tours and everything will be suspended for
Right.
time being. But it's not closed forever.
We certainly hope
We're
not.
going to do this, Karl.
Yes.
I'm telling you. So everybody break open your piggy bank.
Every little bit helps.
You better believe it. So if you hold an event there, you're perfectly fine to go and roam around and do whatever you want, but the
Yes.
doors are locked.
Right.
So we've said that twice now, so let's get this going now. So what do you want us to do?
Call us up, donate, arrange events, and attend our events. A week from tomorrow would be the 26th. The Iowa Veterans will be holding their event on the patio at the castle. A week later, the foundation, the Preston Castle Foundation, will be holding the dinner for our annual fundraiser golf tournament. So
Great.
if you want to golf, get in touch with us because we still have openings for foursomes on the golf tournament.
Great. Now, Karl, where can they reach you if they're interested in?
The easiest way to get a hold of the foundation is just go to PrestonCastle.com.
Okay, PrestonCastle.com, and through there you can be any
There's-
avenue you can take,
There's
and you
phone
can,
numbers, there's
Right.
contact email addresses, a list of the events that we are going to be able to do at the castle is all there on the site, along with some really cool old pictures of the castle back in the
How
day.
nice. And what's a lot of fun, and what a lot of people don't understand is that in the tours, there's different types of tours, and there's no lighting. Am I correct? You have to use a flashlight
If you're there in the dark.
if you're there in the dark. So it's a lot of fun. And tell them a little bit about the history about the castle, because it's very interesting.
Well, the castle was started in construction in 1890 and finished in June of 1894. We're coming up very
Wow.
closely on the 120th anniversary of the castle. It was built to be the first youth corrections facility in California. Prior to the Preston Castle, youthful offenders in California were kept in Folsom and San Quentin state prisons with the adult inmates.
Oh,
And in the
Joy.
1880s, the California legislature said, it's probably not the best way
that's
to
like sending
handle
them
this.
to Crook College.
Right.
You know.
And so they built the Preston Castle as the first youthful offender correctional facility. And they built it the way it looks because they didn't want it to look like a prison.
Right.
And back in 1890s, what Preston Castle looks like, that was their idea of what a school should look like.
Wow. It looks like a college in England.
Yes.
It does. It's absolutely beautiful. So, Karl, if someone wants to have an event, they can go to PrestonCastle.com or even hold a wedding. There's all
Weddings.
kinds of functions and events that you can have out there.
Family reunions, weddings, all kinds of events have been. Richard Forster, the supervisor's daughter, was married at Preston Castle with a huge reception.
How wonderful. How exciting is that? So it's very important because basically you can't get a grant, am I right? There's no grants out there?
The folks who would grant money for historic preservation won't grant money to the government or something owned by the government. And even though the foundation has a 55-year lease on the castle from the state of California, and we're working with the State Department of General Services to get the deed to the castle, and we hope we're getting close on that one, bottom line, the castle is still owned by the state of California, so the historic preservation grants won't consider us. Once we get the deed, then the doors open. We can go for all of those kind of historic preservation
Right.
grants.
Right. Well, what we need to do is we need to have people book events, and any event that you have, please participate because it's so important. We've got a big bill in front of us, because
Right.
it's going to cost quite a bit, about 500 grand.
Just for the sprinkler system,
Right.
somewhere in that neighborhood. The castle, when they closed it in 1960, the state's intent was to tear it down. So they took the roof off, opened all the windows,
Oh, my.
and let it sit from 1960 to the late 1990s with the rain coming in and everything. So there is a lot of damage to the interior of the castle that needs to be repaired. It's one very, very large fixer-upper.
Okay, 500,000 just for the sprinkler system, and then we've got everything else going on that
Right.
we need to do. And you know what? It's not only historic, it's Amador County. It's beautiful. You know,
Yes, it
it's
is.
beautiful. And so many people, you know, it's like if you live in San Francisco, the Bay Bridge, the Golden Gate
Right.
Bridge, Pier 39. You're so used to it that you know you don't think about, hey, we've got to do something to preserve this. This is our part of our community
Yeah, the
heritage.
castle is one of the best examples of Romanesque revival architecture.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the only other piece of Romanesque revival architecture that survives back from that day is the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. Other than that, you see Gothic, you see all kinds of other architectural styles, but Romanesque revival at this point is a relatively rare architectural style.
Right. My husband's grandfather worked on the in San Francisco.
Okay.
On the structure, he was doing the plastering and stuff. So it was when you said that, I said, yeah, I know you have to really keep. And I worked in San Francisco for 18 years, so I know what you're saying. It's very important when these things are a part of your historical heritage.
Right.
You know, you have to take pride in it, you know, and do as much as you can, you know, to help preserve these beautiful structures and get out there and have events. So PrestonCastle.com is the
Right.
most important thing to remember. And then you've got many avenues you can take for events and, you know, for volunteering, whatever.
Volunteering is another big one. We can use all
Yes.
the help we get, everything from folks who want to give tours, folks who want to work in the gift shop, folks who want to be groundskeeper.
Sure.
This Saturday, we have a big work crew coming together, all the volunteers, to put the stage back together for this season.
Great. Great. Well, Karl, I know you've got a full plate, and I'm sorry that we have to, you know, discontinue tours for a while, but it's just a little bump in the road. It's going to be up and running.
Castle's been there for 120 years.
And
We'll weather this one.
We're going to weather the storm. The old girl's stronger than we are, and she's
That's
still
right.
going to be there in another 100 years as long as we get out and help. So if you have events, go to PrestonCastle.com, and if they have events, which are listed there,
Right.
come out and join Karl and all of his people so we can get this going and make it a wonderful part of our historical heritage. Karl, thank you so much, and thank you
Thank
for
you
your
for
hard work,
having
kiddo.
us on.
I know you work really hard. With that, I believe we're going to take a short break, Sarah, and we'll be back. And I think it's going to be Cam and I are going to be chit-chatting with you for a few.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.